Hey, what's up everyone? It's Asad with 52 Cards here. I'm with my good buddy Jeremy Griffith today, also known as Los Angeles on Instagram. You might be following him already.
I'm a big deal.
He's a big deal. We're going to be teaching you, or Jeremy's going to be teaching you something really cool. Actually, we're going to be doing two things.
Right.
So this video, then there's going to be another one where Jeremy's going to come back and teach you something else. And in today's video, we're going to be going over the lateral palm. Okay, we've talked a bit about palming on the channel in the past. We've covered the classic palm. We've covered the Tenkai palm. This is a palm that's extremely well suited for the table. It's specifically designed for the table, and you'll see why in a second. And Jeremy's also going to be teaching you a really cool application for the palm, so you can look forward to that. But Jeremy, I'll let you go ahead and take it away.
Okay, so the idea of this palm, like Asad said, is that it's a lateral palm that's more designed for the table. So it's going to have slightly different forms than if you were keeping the cards in your hand. So I'm going to be teaching you how to not only use it as a steal, one of my personal favorite subjects, but also as a form of control. And you'll even get a variation where it's a very kind of stunning control that doesn't look like it should work. So hope you guys like it.
Oh my gosh. I'm at 52 Cards headquarters. And I have his mat. Okay, I'll stop fooling around. All right, so the lateral palm. This type of palm is actually one of the most user-friendly palms that I do, specifically because it's not dependent on the condition of the deck, and it allows for a lot of freedom of motion, and it also allows for a lot of transfer of position once you're in the lateral palm. But I don't actually do a very academically correct lateral palm. So I'll explain the academic version of a lateral palm and then how I've come to do it over the past couple years. So a lateral palm normally is held flat or perpendicular to the hand and parallel to the table, right? So lateral kind of meaning flat, roughly. And then it's also perpendicular, so it's almost like you're making a perfect right angle with the hand. And the only disadvantage of this, it's kind of like Tenkai, right, is that it doesn't allow for a lot of range of motion without flashing. The other thing is that I do a lot of table work. So when I go to rest my hand at the table, if you look, I'm not bowing that card an awful lot. And that's not great, right? I should be able to relax my hand. So over the years, I've actually developed a different type of handling for this. And it looks a little bit like this. So instead of putting it between the middle finger and the ring finger down near the base, I'm actually going to go one down by the ring finger and the pinky. I'm going to let my ring finger curl around the face of it, and then I'm going to hold it with the same position on the middle finger. Now, because it's traveling along the diagonal, it means that my middle finger can get a lot more purchase, right? Because if it was here, see how it extends beyond that like fleshy part? But here, I'm able to really grab it. And then this corner right here, I'm going to place right at the base of my palm. And that has become my lateral palm. And the nice part is I can rest my hand against the table, and it looks about like my other hand does. So this is actually born of just wanting to be able to set my hand down while still maintaining this palm. Now, getting into this is actually sort of the fun part about this, and it allows for a lot of control. So we'll start first and foremost with just getting the card into lateral palm from the top of the deck, and then how to use that for a very sort of convincing control situation, which you saw in the demo. So the quick and easy way to do this is you're going to take this card, whatever card it is, it can be a selected card. Once it's on top, when you go to turn it face down, instead of turning it face down and perfectly lined up with the deck, I'm actually going to have it line up with sort of the top fleshy part of my first finger. So here, and then, that was a little exaggerated, right about there, right? I want to give it just a small lip for me to utilize, right? This is normally the type of lip that you would use to go into classic palm. The only difference is we're not going to use it as a cantilever, right? We're not going to use it to tilt the card up. We're actually going to use these exposed corners to get purchase on the card as we go to set down the deck. So this is the first part of training in this. So you've got that card, you turn it over, you give it that little bit of a lip, and then all I want you to do is just go ahead and place, as you go to grab the deck, place that corner right between the ring finger and the pinky. And then as you go to grab the deck here, the middle finger grabs onto that corner, you set down the deck, and then you pick up the card at the same time and come back. And this is nice because if you show that the card is on top, you can push the deck forward and you can say, go ahead and shuffle that, and then returning it to the deck. This is called capping the deck. It's actually really easy from this because you don't actually have to change the position of your hand when you go to grab the deck, right? When I go to set this card back on top, that's about the position my hands would take if I was just going to pick up the deck. If I were just here, I would stretch out my hands and my thumb would come around and behind the back. So I'm doing roughly the same motion, right? There's a consistency and economy of motion. When I go to grab the deck here, I'm capping the deck. Now, you're going to do roughly the same thing when you go to do a control situation. Instead of just setting down the deck and then not doing anything else, now instead you're going to cut the deck and grab the card in lateral palm, and then as you come back to this packet, you're going to carry that card with you. So you come here, you take the card, it's on top, you give it a little lip, right there. As you go to cut the deck, you're going to put it into that lateral palm position, and you're going to pick that up, and then as you go to grab this half, you're going to cap this half as you grab it. So you come here, extend, it's capped, and then you set it on top. And now, to the audience's point of view, you've effectively cut the card into the middle. This is reminiscent of something that Harry Lorayne used to do. Obviously, this one's just a little bit easier on the eyes, in my opinion, because the thumb can let go, right? Here, your thumb is free, right? You can do whatever you want. So when you go to set the deck down, right, when you go do like the cutting motion here, right, you don't have to leave the thumb against the card as you go to transfer it to the other half of the deck. Now, the thing about lateral palm is that it does have a lot of opportunity to do what's called a position transfer, right? So if you've got that card here, you can go into tenkai if you need to release the fingers, right? If you need to push something forward. But one of the best places that I like to go with a lateral palm is actually into gambler's palm, especially since I'm sort of a table guy. So I'll show you that on how to do that right now. All it is you're going to release some of the pressure here, right? You're not going to necessarily hold it against the palm. You're going to release a little bit of the pressure, and you're going to let this card slide down along this part of the hand. And then you're going to push it into gambler's palm. That'll be in a different tutorial, but once you know gambler's palm, you can transfer it into gambler's palm so you could actually flatten out your hand against the table. So, but we'll go over that in more detail in the next tutorial that 52 Cards has been kind enough to let me do. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope you find all kinds of cool ways to utilize this.
All right, everybody. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you want to learn more of that sort of style, that sort of tabled technician style, Assad and 52 Cards allowed me to create a whole course on this. So if you go to the link in the description box, you'll be able to see the entire curriculum of everything that you would learn there with me.